It's 9 p.m. on a Sunday, and Alex hasn't said a single word in 3 hours. His wife asked him a question twice. He didn't even hear her. His eyes are locked on a screen. His fists are clenched. His heart is pounding. This isn't a war. It isn't a life or death emergency. It's a football match. And his brain doesn't know the difference. Somewhere between childhood and adulthood, watching a game stopped being entertainment. For millions of people, it became something far more dangerous, an obsession their mind can't escape. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which warning signs are already sitting in your own living room. Every Saturday, Alex plans his entire day around 90 minutes of football. He cancels plans, he skips dinners, he mutes his own family to watch. If you think this sounds extreme, you've probably met someone exactly like him. Maybe it's your father, maybe it's your partner, maybe it's you. Psychologists have studied this exact pattern for years, and what they discovered explains why so many relationships quietly fall apart over something as small as a scoreline. It's called fan identity fusion, and it quietly rewires how the brain processes reality. When Alex's team wins, his brain doesn't just feel happy, it feels victorious, powerful, alive. When his team loses, something inside him actually breaks a little. Researchers studying fan behavior found something unsettling about this reaction. The brain treats the team's performance as a direct extension of personal identity. So a loss isn't just disappointing, it feels like personal failure. That's why some fans throw remotes, smash phones, or go silent for days. This isn't really about football anymore. It's about something much deeper hiding inside the mind. And once you understand what's really happening in there, you'll never watch a match the same way again. To understand why football hooks people this hard, you have to look at dopamine. Dopamine isn't really the chemical of pleasure, it's the chemical of anticipation. Every time the ball moves toward the goal, dopamine spikes before anything even happens. Your brain rewards you for the uncertainty, not just the outcome. That uncertainty is exactly why football feels more addictive than a movie or a show. A movie has a fixed ending. A football match could explode at any second. Your brain can't resist an unpredictable reward, and football is built entirely on unpredictability. This is the same mechanism that keeps people hooked on slot machines. Different setting, same neurological trap. But dopamine is half the story. The other half is tribal instinct, and it's far older and far more powerful than any chemical alone. For most of human history, survival depended on belonging to a group. Your ancestors who stayed loyal to their tribe were more likely to stay alive. That instinct never disappeared. It just found a new tribe, the football club. Wearing a jersey isn't just fashion. To your brain, it's a survival signal. Chanting with thousands of strangers triggers the exact same bonding chemicals as family. That's why losing feels like betrayal, and winning feels like triumph for your whole tribe. Your brain genuinely cannot tell the difference between your team and your own family. This is why grown adults cry after matches that have zero real effect on their actual lives. It's not irrational, it's ancient wiring, doing exactly what it was built to do. But understanding the wiring is only the beginning of this story. Even the commentators feed this cycle, narrating every pass like it carries historical weight. Their excited tone trains your nervous system to treat a routine throw-in as a genuine emergency. But none of this fully explains why some fans don't just feel a loss, they let it quietly take over their relationships. That's where this gets uncomfortable. There's another layer hiding underneath all of this, the illusion of control. Alex has a lucky jersey, a lucky seat, a lucky way of sitting on the couch. He genuinely believes these rituals affect the outcome of the match. Logically, he knows it's impossible. Emotionally, he can't let it go. Psychologists call this magical thinking, and football fans are full of it. It's the same mental trap gamblers fall into at the casino table. When you can't control the outcome, your brain invents fake control just to feel safe. Fantasy football takes this even further, turning fans into pretend coaches and pretend owners. Suddenly, strangers across the world feel like they're part of something they can manage. It's not really about the players anymore. It's about feeling powerful in a powerless world. Then there's the parasocial bond, the strange, one-sided relationship fans build with players. Alex feels like he personally knows his favorite striker, even though they've never met. His brain treats the stranger like a close friend because attention quietly creates false intimacy. When that player gets injured or transferred, fans grieve like they lost someone real. This emotional investment feels effortless, but it's quietly rewiring how Alex experiences connection itself. And that rewiring is about to show up in the last place you'd expect, his Monday mornings. Here's where the story turns darker than most people realize. Alex's mood on Monday depends entirely on what happened on Sunday. A win means he's generous, talkative, even affectionate with his family. A loss means silence, irritability, and a short temper over nothing. His wife learned to read the scoreline just from his face at the door. Children of obsessive fans often describe this exact pattern growing up. Dad's mood wasn't shaped by them, it was shaped by 11 strangers on a pitch. This is the moment a hobby quietly becomes something closer to emotional dependency. Does any part of this sound familiar yet? Studies on fan psychology have linked major losses to spikes in stress hormones. Some researchers even found increases in aggressive behavior after high-stakes defeats. It sounds extreme until you remember how many relationships have cracked over a remote control. The scary part isn't the football, it's how much power fans hand over to it. Alex never decided to give a stranger's performance control over his happiness. It happened slowly, one match at a time, until it became his default setting. And once your mood depends on something you can't control, you've lost more than a game. Some fans even report sleeping worse the night before a major match, their bodies flooded with the same stress chemicals as someone facing a real threat. If that sounds extreme, wait until you see what this is quietly doing to the people who love them. So why does this happen to some people and not others? The answer often has nothing to do with football at all. For many fans, the sport becomes an escape hatch from something uncomfortable, a stressful job, a shaky marriage, a sense of being invisible in everyday life. On the pitch, none of that matters. There's only the game and nothing else. For 90 minutes, Alex isn't an underpaid employee or an overwhelmed husband. He's part of something bigger, something with meaning, something that actually matters to him. That feeling is intoxicating, especially for people who don't feel powerful anywhere else. The team becomes the one place where his voice, his passion, his identity feel completely real. That's validation feels earned, even though he never touched the ball, never trained a single day, never stepped onto the pitch himself. And that's a heavy weight to place on 22 strangers kicking a ball. When real life feels uncertain, a scoreboard at least gives you a clear answer. Win or lose, you know exactly where you stand, even when everything else feels chaotic. That clarity is rare in real life, and the brain clings to it tightly. Which raises the real question, is there a way to keep that clarity without losing yourself in it? None of this means football is the enemy or that passion itself is the problem. Healthy fans feel joy, frustration, even heartbreak, and then they move on with their lives. The danger only starts when a match outcome decides your mood for an entire week, or when your relationships quietly come second to 90 minutes on a screen. The fix isn't quitting the sport you love, it's noticing the grip it already has on you. Ask yourself honestly, does a win actually change your life or just your mood? Awareness alone weakens the trap because obsession thrives on staying unnoticed. Alex didn't need to stop watching football. He just needed to stop disappearing into it. The remote was never the real problem. Where his attention went after the final whistle always was. Remember Alex frozen in front of that screen at 9 p.m., 3 hours of silence deep? If any part of his story felt a little too familiar, you're not alone. Thousands of people are realizing the exact same thing right now. Subscribe if you want more honest psychology like this. And tell me below, are you Alex?